This is a Guide Your Light network production, creating podcasts with purpose.
My name is Kiani Mills, and this podcast is created to help you see, feel, and experience the human side of business. I'm a business owner, an entrepreneur, and a parent. And like many who have travelled this path before me, I've been through the lows of the lows and the gut-wrenching pain. But I've been through the triumphs and the wins and the indescribable highs, all of which I consider to be my lessons in the school of life. On this show, we are going to start some conversations to ignite new world ideas into some very old age businesses. So if you're a leader, a business mind, or an entrepreneur, get ready to think, act, and feel differently so that we can all reach a new level of business success together. So, what are you waiting for? Welcome back to the podcast, She Can Humanise Business. Today, you are stuck with little old me. I really wanted to jump on and hit a topic that I think we can get through really, really quickly, but one that a lot of people skip, the fundamental step. So it's a really short and simple one, but in my world, it changed so many things. It catapulted me from thinking I was doing all of the right things to truly knowing and understanding that I was doing all of the right things and in the right order. So the concept that I am going to share with you all today is the principle of VCP. So VCP stands for visibility plus credibility equals profitability. So where we see a lot of people in business, they skip straight from the V, the visibility, straight to expecting profitability. They miss the fundamental step. Why is it fundamental? Do I hear you ask? Because credibility is where trust is built. And we really can't do business unless there is trust. Whether it's trust in a brand, whether it's trust in a product, or whether it's trust in a person, there needs to be trust. So let's start at the start. So the V, visibility. What does this mean? Practically and very simply, visibility is being seen. It's being seen in the wider community. It's showing up on time. It's doing what you said you were going to do. If you said you were going to bring business cards, bring business cards. If you said you were going to call them back, call them back. It's the part where people watch you, and people will watch you, whether it's in person or on social media. We know that people do take time to get to know you and want to take time to get to know you. So the visibility part's really important because you need to be seen to be known. So being seen, if you're going to a meeting, as I said, turning up on time or even early, making sure you send an email before you go, confirming that the meeting is at this time and we are both going to meet at this place, looking forward to seeing you. It's then in the meeting itself where you're promising that you are going to do things. I'm going to send you an email. I'm going to send you our quote or our costs so you can see what they are. Most importantly, though, is the follow-up. So when you finish a meeting with somebody, making sure that you send them an email saying, thank you so much for your time. Emails are fantastic forms of communication, but they don't build trust. For me, what I liken an email to is simply staying front of mind. And that does give you visibility, absolutely. Don't go sending emails every single day because you will annoy people. However, if there is a reason to send an email, then that's great. Because as we all know, especially those of us like me who are stuck to their computers, we do look at our computers all the time and our emails are there in front of our faces. The other way as well through social media is sending private messages. One step further for private messages, which will move you from visibility into credibility for me, is voice messages. Voice messages give so much more personality. They make it personalized and they really show that that person has taken the time out of their day to send you a voice message. So if you can, when we're contacting or communicating through social media, try and do a voice message more so than a text or I use voice to text a lot, but lazy, just voice record it. Don't cut corners here, right? With visibility, this can also be things like sharing educational pieces, working with marketing teams around creating a visible brand. What can we do for our audience to make sure that they know we are who we are who we say we are, and we do what we say we're going to do, and that's by being visible. So the world that we live in at the moment, social media is a must. We have to do it. We don't get choices anymore. There are no choices in the world of social media. This can also mean having a presence like a website, flyer drops, any kind of marketing tool where people are able to see you. Real estate agents, open homes, having their cards up, or having pamphlets, or whatever it might be. There are so many ways to be visible, but think about visibility as just simply being seen. Visibility sometimes might get you the job, but a lot of the times it won't. It is simply your logo. It is, your branding, whatever it might be. It's the basic. This is the foundational layer. And I know for me, I watch people on social media before I trust them to be able to buy from them. Obviously, there are some situations or brands that we can do that a lot quicker. But a lot of the times, those brands and businesses have put a lot of money into their marketing and their research, even their own visibility and their own credibility in building up their brand, which is really, really clever. So visibility is the basic things that we need to do to be seen by the right people and seen by our clients, customers, and future clients and customers. So please don't forget as well that in the visibility section, a lot of people do get caught up, especially if we're going to have meetings or at networking events. I only want to meet people who are in my contact sphere or in my industry or in my property sphere or whatever it might be. Don't close your mind. Don't close the opportunities to who you could possibly meet and who you could be visible to by getting so fixated on being only aligned with those in your industry or your referral partners. Being specific is terrific. Absolutely. There is definitely a time and a place for it. But in a state of being visible, we're not being visible for the sake of particular individuals. We're being visible for the wider community. We're being visible so that word can spread, so that someone can go, oh, I need a plumber. And you go, oh, I saw this great guy, or I met this great guy, or I saw this cool social media post. Visibility can create opportunities. So just be mindful that if we are face-to-face, we're not closing any of those opportunities down by staying too fixed. Next, we move on to credibility. And as I did say, the step from visibility to credibility, I believe, can be a really beautifully authentic one. Credibility is trust, and we trust the people that we know. So if your brand is yours, like me, I am my brand, people need to get to know you. It's all well and good to have a flashy logo, but who are you and why do you do what you do? Credibility is a trust building exercise. This can come in the form of testimonials. Testimonials are great credibility resources. This can come in the form of PR or marketing, so articles or professional insights or podcasts, anywhere where you are placed as the expert, anywhere that your voice is recognized as being a voice of authority, anywhere that it gives your visible brand a credible resource for what it is that you do, the outcome that you achieve, and what you do for your clients. Because at the end of the day, my business isn't for me and my business isn't for my staff. My business is for my clients and my customers. So we're trying to build trust with our potential clients and customers. While yes, it works really, really well as we build our credibility for our referral partners as well, the referral partners, they're going to need more of a personalized touch. They're going to need coffees, breakfast, lunch and dinner, events, invites, one-on-one catch-ups. They're going to need your time, because in the credibility phase for a customer, they need to trust what it is that you're selling and why you're selling it. Whereas the credibility phase for a referral partner or someone that you are going to work with, it's a personal credibility exercise that needs to build trust between two individuals. It's almost like dating, but not in a creepy way. It's because we need to suss each other out, make sure that the way that you work is going to complement my clients. The way that I work is going to give you the desired outcome. For a lot of us that work heavily in referral partnerships, it is very, very, very helpful to remember that if we're receiving clients from somebody else, our job is to make them look good. Our job is to, yes, work our bums off and make ourselves look good, but to in turn support that referral partner, support their business, because without them, we wouldn't have had this client. So never forget where the clients come from. And also too, people don't put enough resource on how important it is to introduce people to each other. A really great way to build credibility, especially with referral partners, is by introducing them to someone that they need to know. So for instance, let's use real estate because it's an easy one for me. If I'm talking to a mortgage broker and I have a mortgage broker that is giving me business and I haven't come across a client that needs a mortgage broker yet, instead, I can say to that mortgage broker, who does most of your clients come from? And he might turn around and say, oh, I've got a financial planner around the corner that sends me all of his clients. Lo and behold, what do you know? Great. Did you want to meet another financial planner? And he'd be like, oh, of course I do. Like, great. Let me introduce you to this incredible financial planner. And potentially he could not only give you one client, he might be able to give you 10. So the trust goes through the roof. And you've just given someone a golden ticket for 10 new clients, potentially. That is the most, it's quick, but it's also the most deep-seated way to show that you trust somebody. So that's a reciprocal way of creating credibility, because you're creating credibility in the business and you're doing it personally. So the next step with the introduction with the financial planner would be, and this is a big one for everybody, don't just hand over a business card or send contact details. Do a 3-way introduction and use your means of communication. Mine's email. I would do a 3-way email between the financial planner and the mortgage broker and go, hey, Jeff, please meet Sue. I was telling him how fantastic you are at what you do and how much you've helped my clients. And he's looking for more financial planners to help his clients out. So I really wanted to make this introduction because I think that you two will be able to create some great synergies and share clients and potentially become really good friends as well. Over to the two of you and happy connecting. It doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. But that not only has given the mortgage broker trust that you are a credible human, it's also created credibility in the financial planner, which every time they work together comes back around. So we can create credibility in ways that we haven't even thought about because it's not about us. Take us out of the scenario. The byproduct is us getting clients or us receiving thanks or us building trust. If we are going into these situations and scenarios and relationships constantly with the outset of how can I help? What can I give back? Who can I impact today? Those things are going to naturally build trust. Karma, it comes around, right? You don't need something straight away. You don't expect something straight away because if you expect it, you won't get it. But if we're going into scenarios like that and going, gosh, I'm really grateful for this mortgage broker, but I haven't given him a client in a little while. How can I fix that? Amazing. Financial planner. So the way that I build trust with others, instead of waiting and going, oh, I haven't been able to give back yet, that's exactly where I start. When I meet someone new, one of the first questions I ask them is, great, who do you need to meet? Who can I introduce you to? How can I kickstart your next conversation with someone who is going to be extremely beneficial to your business? There you go. I'm not wanting anything in return. I've just met this person. And granted, maybe I don't know who they need, but it's asking the question still. Put it out there, see what happens. But creating credibility is the foundation, which is our second level foundation of creating trust. And we know that people buy from people that they trust. Lastly is our profitability. So once we've got our foundation set and we're visible, visibility also is consistency. Consistently doing what you said you're going to do, showing up, being the same, being the person that you portray. Don't put on masks. Don't pretend to be someone that you're not, because you'll get found out sooner or later. So visibility is our foundational layer. Next up, we go from visibility to credibility. And in order to do that, we create trust. We create a deeper relationship. We create a personalized relationship. We share who we are. We share who our clients are. We share our testimonials. We make introductions. We take people out for lunches, which is the best thing in the world. We create those relationships so that instead of this big, giant pool of visible people, we've got this beautiful little pond of credible, trusted resources. And we just make that go deeper. And once we've been seen and once we've created trust, that's when the reward comes. and the reward is profitability. But as I said before, if we're going into these things with the wrong intentions, the reward won't come. The reward is a reward, and it is a reward for putting in the work. It might take 6 months to get visible, credible, and then profitable. It might take 6 days. Everyone's going to be different. Everyone's level of trust is different. So you do have to be patient. And sometimes there is no reward. And that's okay too, because there we learn, because potentially maybe we did something wrong, or potentially maybe we said something wrong, or maybe what we said just wasn't right for that person. And that's okay too. Sometimes there isn't always a reward at that point in time. But I'm sure along the way, if you are showing up and you are being authentic and you are giving without expecting to receive, naturally things will come back around. So profitability, what is that? It's money. It's making money. This is the reason why we're in business, is to make money, help our clients. But yeah, we need the financial benefit or the financial gain or the financial reward in the hard work that gets put in, because we all know it's hard to run a business. It's hard to be a staff member. It's hard to be an employer. However, if we turn those challenges into rewards, then nothing has to be hard. So the profitability piece, as I said, this isn't a sure thing. And I truly don't believe in putting an ROI on people's heads. I know there's a lot of salespeople out there who may shout at me and say, Kiani, stop being so naive. I understand, yes, sales roles and BDM roles are very different. Yes, there needs to be an outcome for the efforts that are put in. I get it. But I've learned over 10 years of being in business and being the face of my business that not all relationships should have a dollar amount. And sometimes you can't even track where the dollars come from. So while it's important to track our efforts and monitor our progress towards achieving our goals, sometimes the gift of reciprocity needs to just be allowed to come back around. So if you're tracking everything down to the minute, to the dollar, to the everything, and you're getting really disappointed because you're not receiving anything instantly, keep tracking, absolutely, but stop expecting. Don't put expectations on your time and your efforts, because that's going to come through. You're going to come across needy. You're going to come across impatient. And if you can't do what you said you're going to do, or if you're too pushy with the trust side and you're trying to force someone to trust you, it's not coming. If it doesn't come, that's a beautiful invitation to sit down and have a look at your processes, sit down and have a look at your marketing strategy, sit down and have a look at your sales strategy and go, right, what's missing? In this section here, I would strongly recommend that every time you have a client or send an invoice, get a customer survey forms. So we've got Office 365 in our business, and part of that Office 365 suite is a free app called Forms. And you can create checkboxes and things like that. So every client, when they settle, they get a feedback form so that we can start monitoring the feedback. We've got feedback forms for BDMs or salespeople so that we can track and monitor how their progress is, our file handlers, everything. So if you're stuck and you're going, I just don't understand, it's not working. Why isn't it working? I've tried everything. Start asking whys. It's a really, really hard thing to do, but you've got to ask, hey, can I just ask you a quick question? How come you didn't buy from us? It's a hard thing to do because you don't want to be told. You don't want to hear it. I didn't for a really long time, so I ignored it. I put my head in the sand and pretended it didn't happen. So my solution was to just find more people, which it's not realistic. And I wasn't creating deep relationships. I just had a lot of surface level relationships that just went around in roundabouts. And it was wasting my time until I put my big girl pants on and decided to start asking. When someone didn't accept a quote, why not? Do you mind just letting me know, just for future? Constructive criticism is the best thing in the world. It's not a bad thing if you take it as a way to grow. Yes, of course, some of them can be pretty personal and yeah, they hurt. And we can deal with those things as they come along. However, if there is a consistent theme, then you know what you need to change. Without doing the research and asking the hard questions, you'll never know what you need to change. And it might be something so small, might be the language. You might be using the word you instead of we. That's a big one. Language is huge. If we're not using inviting language, sometimes people can feel attacked or make things personal when they weren't, especially when we're using emails and text and things like that. There's no context. So if you can take a little look into why it's not coming, change a few things, then go back and have another look and see how you go. Because the process from visibility to credibility, then to profitability, that last step is the easy one because you've done the hard yards. There shouldn't really be many pushbacks at that point because people buy from people they trust. And if you are the leader in your organization or in your team or in your household or in your family, then it is up to us to have a hard conversation if we need to have one so that we can make those tweaks. And it doesn't have to be a huge tweak. It's just 2% change creates the biggest ripple effect. And all of a sudden that profitability kicks in. That's all from me today, guys. I thought I'd keep it nice and simple, something that you can implement instantly. I learned this through the amazing BNI network, of which I was a member there for 8 or 9 years. And this to me really, it landed so deeply. I went, oh my gosh, how simple is that? How easy is that? But a lot of people, and I was one of them, oh, you can see me, great, buy from me. Even though you've got no idea who I am or what I do, just buy from me. So naive, so naive. So have a really hard look at what you're doing. Have a really hard look at what the team's doing. If you are missing that critical step of credibility, which is trust, and just go back and make a couple of tweaks. I would love to hear feedback from anybody who does have a look at this and sees that there are gaps, sees that there are things that they can change. And look, if not, I'm always here. Reach out. These are the things I love helping businesses deal with. These things seem simple. Sometimes they can be quite tricky, especially if we are quite stuck in our ways and we've become habitual and stuck in our patterns. So I hope that was beneficial. Thank you so much for listening. We have an amazing guest coming on next week, so please make sure that you listen. All of our guests have been amazing, but I'm super excited for next week's. It's another one that's out of the box, which is what I love doing for you guys, keeping the variety fresh. But if you don't already, please like and subscribe. Follow Can Humanise Business. Our Instagram page is absolutely going off, so please send through also any topics you'd like me to talk about. You are going to hear my voice a fair bit. So let's make it beneficial. Let's make sure that you're leaving this time with me with something tangible, something that you can implement or do with it straight away. Thank you so much again. My name is Kiani Mills, and this is the Can Humanise Business podcast.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I would love to hear your feedback around what resonated and what key lessons and learnings that you took out of today's episode. You can find me on Instagram and on LinkedIn under the Can Humanise Business podcast or Kiani Mills. I really hope that you were able to see, feel and experience a new way of humanising business.